When I bought the Litter Robot 4 for my two cats, Daisy and Darnell, every review that I watched on YouTube was absolutely glowing. In a world where tech products live up to every claim that they make, it's not hard to see why the Litter Robot 4 would be so popular. Nobody likes cleaning up feces. That's why every house in America comes standard with indoor plumbing. Even I got lost in the sauce. But after 2 months of testing, I have a feeling that this might be the most critical review that you've seen on the Litter Robot 4. Before we go any further, let me disclose my relationship with the company that makes the Litter Robot 4, Whisker. There is no relationship. I bought this with my own money, and there's no affiliation with Whisker at all. Speaking of my own money, let's start by talking about the price. The Litter Robot 4 starts at $6.99 before tax. That's quite the premium for a place for your cat to take a dump. That's not taking into account any of the extras, such as the steps, which you may want for the older cats in your life, the shield, which you're going to need if your cat's anything like Darnell, who likes to get a little rowdy when he's doing his duty, the litter trap mat, which in my opinion is essential if you decide to buy the Litter Robot 4, never mind any of Whisker's self-branded litter, deodorants, or bags. At such a steep cost in comparison to maintaining and owning a regular litter box, the Litter Robot 4 had better be a banger. At this cost, there should be zero glaring downsides. Of course, nothing is perfect, but when we're talking about this much money, you really got to be killing the game for me to recommend this to my audience. My very first impression of the Litter Robot 4 was how light it felt in the box. It's made entirely of plastic, and while it may not look cheap and flimsy, the satin finish is easy to scuff and it didn't sit flat on my floor. But after a week, it did sit flat on my floor. I don't know if this is a positive or a negative, because if the plastic can warp this easily, does that really bode well for the next 5 or 10 years of ownership? I don't think so. The unboxing is pretty simple. The unit comes completely assembled out of the box, and all you need to do is find a place to put it and plug it in. You add litter up to this indicator ring, press the power button, and let it do its initial cycle. Mine showed up with a bag already in the waste tray, but you need to make sure that yours does too. If you want to stop here, the Litter Robot 4 is ready to go. They make it really simple, and when you're talking about a litter box, simple needs to be the name of the game. Something to consider with the Litter Robot 4 is how big it is. The actual footprint isn't that much different if you're already using a bigger box like I do, but it's a bit taller and you're gonna need an outlet. In my house, I don't have a lot of outlets, which only left one suitable place, which was right next to the front door. Normally this would be a problem since I'm not trying to smell a litter box right when I walk into my house. But something I noticed in the first couple days is that the Litter Robot 4 pretty much eliminated all cat smells from my house. 2 months into ownership, and this still holds true. The Litter Robot 4 does this by keeping used litter relatively sealed at the bottom of the unit. It also uses carbon filters to neutralize odor. Whisker has an app which is going to give you access to some advanced features such as telling you how full the waste bin is, telling you the weight of your cats, and giving you extra opportunities to give them more of your money. You'll need to connect the Litter Robot 4 to Wi-Fi in order to make use of these features. Something that I don't think a lot of people realize is that the Litter Robot being connected to Wi-Fi exposes you to cybercrime. I'm not going to get too deep into this because I'm not a security expert, but you need to understand that having the Litter Robot 4 connected to Wi-Fi adds another vulnerability to your network. Comment down below if you can explain this in layman's terms. I'll pin the comment for other people to read. At first I thought it was pretty cool to see how much the cats weigh, and some people online said that having this feature let them catch health issues early, but I'm the type to disable all noises and notifications coming out of my phone. So unless I'm actively checking the app, I'm not getting any sort of weight loss info on Daisy and Darnell. Besides that, something about Darnell's pooping habits is preventing it from getting accurate weight data anyways. And Daisy doesn't even use the litter box anymore. As soon as I took the regular box away, she just started going outside. I think that because she's so fluffy, the Litter Robot 4 is just a little tight compared to the normal box that we use. Even though it takes up the same space as a normal litter box, it's pretty small on the inside. What this means is that you end up with cat waste not actually going into the litter. You're not going to have litter clumps if the cat is going on the side of the dome. And Darnell is tiny. He only weighs 7 pounds, and compared to Daisy or the other neighborhood cats, he's the smallest cat on the block. So Daisy doesn't use the litter box anymore. That's okay, that still leaves Darnell, and he seems to like it just fine. You're able to set a delay between when he leaves the box and when it starts its cycle. This is important because depending on what litter you use, it takes different amounts of time for it to clump properly. When the unit does cycle, the motor is not that loud. If I'm in my office or my bedroom, I don't hear it at all. For the first few weeks, the cats were so intrigued by the rotating dome that they would come and stand on the step to see what was happening. As soon as this happens, the dome immediately stops rotating to prevent any accidents from happening. That's good because you don't want your cats getting their little legs caught in the opening. But what's not so great is that from the time the dome stops rotating until it finishes its cycle, the waste bin is exposed to the open air. And all those odor neutralizing features go right out the window. And because you're collecting multiple days worth of cat litter, the smell is much worse than a regular litter box. The delay is customizable in the app, but what if you don't want to use the app? What if you don't have Wi-Fi in your house? The two items that you're always going to have to buy as long as you own cats are garbage bags and cat litter. If you choose to buy these items from Whisker, you're going to pay a premium. Let's compare the cost of a high-end garbage bag like this Glad bag to the Whisker bag. For the Whisker bags, you're going to pay $55 for 100 bags. Compare that to $23.50 for 110 of the Glad bags. And the Glad bags are actually premium. They have different scents, a drawstring, and you're able to buy them at any grocery store. Now let's look at the Whisker litter. A 20-pound bag is going to cost you $30. Or you can get a 38-pound bag of Tidy Cats for $25.99. No matter what you decide to buy, I'm going to have links in the description down below. If you use those links, I'll make a small commission and it would mean the world to me to have your support. Deep cleaning the Litter Robot 4 is a bit of a bear because you're going to have to go out in the yard and hose down the entire dome, the waste bin, and the fence. The step on the waste bin is annoying because used litter gets stuck in the grooves. And when you hose down any of this stuff, it wants to shoot water back in your face. Gross. Even though deep cleaning is nasty, taking the Litter Robot 4 apart is very easy. You press these two little tabs in and lift the cover off. Then you grab the dome by this handle and take it outside. There are really good videos on cleaning the Litter Robot 4, and I'll leave you the link in the description below to the one that I used when I did it. For me, none of the negative points I've shared so far are deal breakers. If you can stomach the cost, everything I've mentioned so far is within the realm of what I'm willing to accept. This last point, however, is where the Litter Robot 4 starts to lose me. The dome and the waste bin on the Litter Robot 4 are not properly sealed. What I mean by that is that it's possible to get used litter into the area under the dome, but outside of the waste bin. I discovered this the second time I did a deep cleaning. The first time I took it apart, it didn't seem like a big deal. I saw some little pieces here and there, but it didn't seem to be too gross. I just chalked it up to a minor annoyance. But the second time was way worse. That means the base of the unit has to come outside now. And you're not gonna wanna hose this part down. There's a little motor in there, so if you hose it down, it's gonna get messed up over time. Okay, so use a vacuum, you might say. Great, now you have a vacuum that's all nasty because you're vacuuming up used litter with it. No thanks. Also, I noticed out of nowhere, I started getting little gnats all around my house. For the life of me, I could not figure out where these things were coming from. Well, check this out. You see all those little maggots or whatever they are? Also, look how nasty the fuzzy little liner is. If it's this gross after 2 months, what are the odds that the Litter Robot 4 is going to provide a good experience over the next couple of years? Not very high if you ask me. So now if you could please explain to me how the Litter Robot 4 is a net win over just using a regular litter box. Even if you don't plan on using the Whisker branded litter and bags, you're still going to be into this thing for nearly $1,000 before you even get it home. You might delay daily scooping, but deep cleaning this box versus a regular litter box is way more hassle. To me, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. I'd rather buy a nice litter box, some good litter, and some cool cat toys. The only time I see this being worth it is if you have to go for a week without touching your litter box. If that's you, then go ahead and use my links in the description below. Whisker gives you a 90-day in-home trial, so if you don't like it, you can just return it. I'm sure a ton of people watching this video already own the Litter Robot 4, so leave a comment down below and tell me your experience. Tell us what you do to mitigate the negatives that I mentioned.